Okay, here is a quick 101 in misery. Ready? This is based on 40 years of being on the planet, and in fairness, most of that time being a clinician in psychology, psychotherapy, coaching, all of those things, and working with hundreds of people, thousands of people from all walks of life, the wealthy, the homeless, any mix of in between, people struggling with severe and enduring mental health issues, the average Joe Blog, on the street, the banker, the child, the teenager. It's the same issue, which is something that you will have heard all over the place and to differing degrees ignored it, because for the most part that's what we do. Listen to what your heart tells you. And most people frown at that and so on. Any movie that's going to punch you in some kind of way is going to say something essentially about being true to yourself. Few people do it. There's a couple of issues, because if we don't do that, generally speaking, we aren't living the life we want, and it becomes a facade. And that can end in suicide. It can end in, it can in part be about alcoholism, depression. I mean, any situation that people are in, where they're struggling, where they're stuck, where they're miserable, misery. It's the same word that keeps coming to my mind. There's suffering and there's pain. And a lot of people can't avoid pain, but we can certainly not have to deal with suffering. That means change. So the issue is everybody's miserable for the same reason, because they don't listen to what they know. And the reason we don't listen to what we know is because we are not us. Majority of people are not themselves. They are what they contorted themselves to be, how they designed themselves to be, in order to survive emotionally, literally, what they grew up in. So most people, in order to get the love and attention that we all desperately need in order to literally live, we very creatively made ways of being what we feel was acceptable to the other person. So there's listen to yourself and act accordingly, which we don't do. And there's a fundamental reason for it, which is, hang on a minute, what, you're telling me all of the things that I've made this into in order to survive that, now I have to stop doing that and listen to actually what's underneath it? Two things happen. One is people are in grief because they realize how much life and love and happiness and fulfillment they've missed. And two is, no way, and now I've got all of these tools to defend against being more hurt. No way am I going to risk more pain by doing something different that I don't understand, that I've never done, that I'm not familiar with, and I cannot predict. So people stay stuck and they stay the same. So there's three options for people, and it gets this harsh, believe me. Either continue to do what you do, only lower your expectation of what it is you want in the future, because it's very doubtful you're going to get it if you keep doing the same thing and having the same problems. It's not going to change. Or, I'm so sorry to say it, but kill yourself, which is what a lot of people sit around and fantasize about or even attempt to do. Or change. And there's that old age quote of, who wants change, who wants to change? This is how it is. Successful people, whatever way you want to define success, because it's very individual, do what they need to do in order to get to where they need to get to. What will I give up? What do I have to shift? What kind of investment do I have to make, time-wise, energy-wise, money-wise, and so on? The people that do those things are effective in their business or relationships or both, and a whole heap of other things as well. So there's an issue. We're miserable because we don't listen to what we know and act. We've been educated out of listening to what we know because we were trying to survive something very important. And now we've got all of these things in place to make sure that we feel secure, we feel certain, we feel we'll be guaranteed love and attention and so on. That's the way we've survived. Nobody wants to do anything about that. We want other people to change. So in any sort of self-help seminar, you know, motivational speaking and so on, you're going to hear essentially the same message, which is what I do for a living. Let's turn the dial up on the noise inside that says, I want something different than this, and I know what I need to do in order to get it. One, most people, if you ask, what do I want about this situation? Do I want the water? No, I want a cup of tea. We don't say it. Most people know that. Those that get very fuzzy about knowing that are so invested in not knowing that because it's been too disturbing back there, that it's very difficult when you say to somebody, how do you really feel? What do you want to do with your life? To differing degrees, we struggle with the question. When people are very stuck, they need the help of a coach or a mentor, a therapist, or whatever it might be. And unless you get that, and unless you fully commit to take responsibility to change who you are, how you behave, how you think, what kind of environment you put yourself in, what kind of food you put in your body, and everything, unless we do that, nothing changes. Listen to what you know inside. Really, truly listen. And that's not listen to all of the defensive stuff that says they're not going to like me and I'm sure of that. That's all stuff designed to protect us. Get somebody to help you listen and have a think about, am I actually committed to doing something about this, or am I not? Because if you're not, you're not. Good. So let yourself off the hook and get on with your life as it is. There's no use thinking about, I want it to be different and not do something about it. That is a life of complete and utter frustration. Do I want to do something about it? If I do, probably you're going to need some help to do it. Otherwise, you've done it already. And what's your next move? Listen,